Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Songs of Seeks. I'm your lovely host, Calvin. This is an excellent city builder game that just got a fresh update to version 65, The Way of Water, which I'm here to check out with you guys, because it's a great game if you've never heard of it. It is a fantasy city builder in comparison to what I'm currently playing. Thank fuck for that. Do I need a break? Do I need a break from realism? Oh. No, I mean laughing at myself. Yeah, so this is a fantasy city builder. And it is quite possibly one of my favorite games of all time, actually. And it's still in early access, so, like, it's done well for itself. We're going to be starting a new game. Just normal difficulty. Easy plus. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't actually think there is... Oh, good lord, there is harder difficulties. Yeah, no, that's good. Let's just play normal. That's fine. So, the first thing we get to do is select our starting race. We have... And I'm going to use colloquial names because it's easy. Pig elves, and I call them pig elves because one, they look like pigs, and two, I mean, really you just have to look at like the pluses and minuses, and it's actually fairly simple. They're great farmers, bad at industry, peaceful and submissive, bad at combat, easy to please, obsessed with food. They worship at inexpensive temples. Bonus points. You know, they're your usual sort of hippie farmers. We have our dwarves, or Dundarians. They're excellent craftsmen with high standards. They're super racist. Honestly, they're pretty not racist in comparison to some of the other races in this game. They're good but begrudging minders. There are the Garthimi. They're kobolds. They breed fast, have low demand, great at miners, very limited skills across the board, terrible at knowledge work, yeah. Then there are your bog standard humans. They yearn, if the dwarves yearn for the mines, the humans yearn for the cubicles. They are excellent scientists and managers. They're actually good farmers too. They're not as good as like the Crotonians are. No, excellent versus good. But honestly, they're still pretty good. There's the Amevia. They're like some sort of new race I haven't even really experienced with. I don't even have like a colloquial name for them yet. They're like basically fish people though. I don't know. Like they're good at fishing. They're religiously flexible. They're also, yeah, here we are, into the super racist ones now. Just dislikes other species. Dislikes other species, can be violent. Yeah. Which is fine. I think our starting species, though, will end up being human. Because, as I said before, humans yearn for the cubicles. And I haven't talked yet necessarily about a lot of the things in this game. Because there's so much in this game that if I were to start talking about it without playing, we would be here for hours. Which is great. But, such is life. Also, as I mentioned before, since this is a fantasy thing, this is a whole fantasy world with a boatload of fantasy lore. So, we'll get to things. Like, just even little things. The Dundarians aren't born, but created by the gods of themselves, or so it is believed. Which is hilarious. For example, you can't breed more dwarves. You could only get migrants. On the other hand, they also, I think, live forever, so it's pretty good. So, I'm actually just going to take humans. And then we get to select up to 5 titles in a tiny roguelite element. You know, these are all titles I've earned in previous games. So, let's grab them. I get them as nice little effects for this one. I'll take the artisan. I don't really have a whole lot of options here, so this will increase the output of most of my workshops by 20%. Nice. Breaker of chains for 10% happiness. Heaviest of hands for 10% lawfulness. The Great for 15% happiness. And then either the nudist or the slaver. We'll probably not do slavery this game. Although maybe human supremacy? Maybe we'll have some slaves. Yes. Some slaves. Might just. So let's generate a map. Wow, there's a lot of water here. Okay. So we're going to be placing our city. And there's going to, after we place our city, generate an entire political map with foreign nations, and we're going to have to manage our foreign relations. Okay. Honestly, this map is kind of trash because there's so much water at the temperate latitude. I can go down to the warm latitude and find a bunch of stuff, but I don't know. Generally speaking, I try and play at the temperate latitudes because there's kind of like a stealth buff to them. While we can come down to the warmer latitudes and say get double production on opiate farms, 50% more on cotton and globdian pastures, which is great. At first glance, temperate seems bad, but there's a fun little sort of stealth buff to them. Which is that fertility is usually a lot higher. But maybe I can find somewhere where fertility is decent, even still. Although honestly, even still, this map is kinda trash. Let's regenerate. There we are. New map. Because I'm gonna need one with a decent river, ideally resources as well. And, basically two major things I'm looking for is high fertility, which will require a river. Humans not for climate warm. It will be a bit harder to please them. They like temperate. Yeah, there's also that. Oof. I'm rolling some high desert maps today. Not as much river as I would normally like. 84% fertility. 16% sweet water. Yeah. Somewhere actually like here might be really good. 84% fertility is pretty decent, honestly. I'm not going to find much more than that. And I'm kind of giving up on the idea of starting with resources. It's not a requirement. It is nice, though. But, alright, you know what? I'll give it another regeneration. I'll try one last time to get, like, something decent. I want forest and river and maybe some resources. Ooh, there's some ore. That one might meet my requirements. Oh, nope, never mind. 47% fertility. Yeah, see, it's not easy. Yeah, if my choices are between feeding people and being able to dig things out of the ground, like, it has to be feeding people, you know? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm also generally, like, this isn't my first game of this, and I'm actually pretty used to it. Eventually you start ruling an empire, and so we can extract resources from other regions. So it's not necessarily the end of the world to not have it. Man, that said, the map generations I am getting are still trash. Like, holy cow. Mm-hmm. 50% fertility, but I can get coal and ore. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to find... This man without mindable resources is more difficult. Shut up, game. I'll be fine. I won't be fine, but... You know. Man. There's, like, so few temperate rivers. Come on. And, like, generally I'm looking for sweetwater lakes as well that have rivers. Actually... Okay. 40% is a lot of mountain. 29% is a lot of mountain still. Like 79% water. There's very little sweet water, which is difficult, but I can deal with. But that would give me access to coal there, and that could be huge. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll make an exception here, because coal is super valuable. And I can dig into the mountain. Alright. I'll give it a shot. I'll have some coal. Not bad, honestly. So, we start with 2 neighbors. Normally, I think we start with 3, but to be fair, I did kind of wedge myself in kind of awkwardly around this lake. So, that's fair. Oh, good. We have Cretonians to our north, and racist elves to our south. Excellent. Let's go to, let's go. Oh, so, the rest of the world also got generated the political map, but honestly it's mostly going to be irrelevant to me for the next 50 episodes, until we start interacting more with the world at large. So this is the map that we are on. Interesting. That's a good coal deposit. What governs where I start is more likely to be my fertility, though. So let's start with that. Ooh, this area is very fertile. So I'm probably going to want to start about here. We're going to be far from trees, which is going to be a bit of a struggle. But, hear me out. We'll be alright. Yeah, like there's going to be a lot of farming around here, which is good. Although, alternatively, if I accept the farms here, I start about here. I put the housing cluster... I'm trying to, like, start out with a map in my mind already. Yeah, like, I have pretty solid stone deposits here. I'm probably gonna build out of stone. That'd be awesome. Alright. I think maybe I'll start over here and, like, try and expand, because I can do my first farm here. And the majority of my, like, city and industry, I think, will be positioned here. Alright. So given what I have access to, I need to decide my starting crop pretty much immediately. And I think I'm going to try for grain. Grain is technically the most productive, but also stupid dangerous. My grain will produce me 4.5 grain, which is great. This is in comparison to, say, the fruit farm, which produces me 1.5 fruit. Like 3 times the production. Not bad at all. But grain isn't edible. Grain has to be processed in the refining bakery. Here we go. Yeah. Which currently the only recipe I have unlocked is 6 grain, 1 wood, 6 bread. If I get coal-fired ovens, I can do 6 grain, 0.5 coal, and is 6 bread. That will actually be super important for me eventually. How much are coal-fired ovens? 600 tech. Bakery upgrade 1. Okay. Alright. We do start with some opiate and some cotton nearby. It's not really helpful. Alright. There's some exposed stone here. I'm debating if I want to try and dig it out fairly early. No. First order of business, I think, is I need to construct a hunter, yeah. Here we go. Hunters are basically your starting food production. No, let's share a wall here. And, like, they're actually the best. I think they'll produce, like, just straight up 3 food per person. Which is great. But they have a rule of diminishing returns applying to them very quickly. So. And I'll need some furniture. Okay. Yeah, furniture... Fuck, furniture's gonna be difficult without wood. So maybe then I can't start with you. Alright. I have, I think, only 2 days of food. Like, if I look into my starting stockpile here, yeah, 20 rations. I also have 40 grain and 16 livestock. Which, that's a start. I'll tell you what is a start as well. Decent grain farm. The maximum size that you can generally have is about 45 by 45, so we'll start with that as like sort of a rough size. I'm fine like kind of shaping it a little differently to try and hit the fertility spots. Nah. Let's move it just down a little bit. Oh, alright. My cat knocks to get into the window. Don't mind him. So yeah. Well, alright, 45 by 45. 2 off there and 2 here. There's like some good fertile region here I don't want to waste. But I do love squares. There, max size reached. Alright, that'll do. Average fertility is 71, which isn't too bad. Alright, we're not really going to get that constructed in a reasonable amount of time, but I do need to, like, have that planned. We're going to be relying on the local, like, huntables for food, I think, at the start. That's going to be our initial plan. Yeah. It's going to be a struggle for me because I'm used to starting with a lot more forest. That's usually like my game plan. There's grain there? Oh no, that's vegetables, okay. Yeah, there isn't actually a whole lot of grain to start with farm seeding, which is concerning. Well, we'll be alright. Okay. Stone mine, maybe. No. What I will need is a warehouse, because I'm going to need to be able to store things. And, like, it'll have to be pretty big. No. I need to rethink my strategy is what I need. Actually, no. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10? That's alright. I'm going to want to build it out of stone. Yep. So, when building rooms, I'm starting by building a perimeter here. That's what this white is. This is wall. And then I have to fill the interior. You're going to notice the color. It changes from blue to yellow, which is just basically a function of how, well I'm building. Yellow is just basically bad, and I have to avoid that at any cost, more or less, because it will cause the building to require significantly more maintenance and materials to build. Alright, that's a pretty solid starting warehouse. It'll require 282 wood, 416 stone. That's fine. Get to it. Okay. So, I'm not going to mark anything as huntable just yet. I'm just going to allow people to get to work. They'll run out of stone, as I expect, which is fine. However, they should then try and clear this farm at some point, which will generate them a tiny bit of both wood and stone alike. Because, yeah, like the trees and the rocks on the farm all need to be cleared. So, yeah, we'll get started with that. Unfortunately, that's cotton. I wish that was something better. Smile it on. Yeah, let's not fuck with that. That'll get someone murdered. Yeah. So as we clear out the farm, that's getting us some base stone to build with. Also, in general, I'll be explicitly clearing stone. Wherever that is. Terraform. There we go. Clear rock. Which will allow me to yield more stone to build with. Even if I just do that. But yeah, they'll get there eventually with the farm anyway. Because yeah, a lot of these deposits are pretty, thick. Yeah, we haven't even started on the ceiling yet. Alright, how are we doing? 19 rations. Alright. I'm gonna order a couple of huntings. Forage? No. Hunt. Here we go. Hunt a couple of our oaks, please. Okay, lead jobs. Okay, refurnish this room. Refurnish this room is my way of basically saying, don't do that right now. You have other things to be doing. As I try and get them, maybe haul some meat. Of course, I don't really have anywhere to haul the meat to, but at least the meat's on the ground now and they'll be able to eat it. Which is important. Fully cleared. Although in incredible need of stone. Slow and steady. It'll get there. I'm building like stuff that is honestly pretty large for my starting thing. It's just kind of like a way to future-proof a little bit. Alright, we're also getting to late summer. Late summer is kind of important because I will need to forage for the wild grain. Wild grain is going to be very important for me because I will need it to seed my farm. I must achieve 3 rations. Alright. Let's hunt another large number of our oak and refurnish this room. Again, we're just really just force them to go do literally anything else. In this case, it's just going to be a lot of hunting. Which is fine, again. They're just here to get meat, basically. I need to make sure I don't run out of food. And I don't have any way to track how much food I have until this warehouse is set up. This is the problem with not starting like a forest, where if I was clearing land for a freaking farm, I'd be swimming in wood. Now I have to do it more difficultly. We're also now in late summer, so again, go do literally anything else. In this time period, I want them out here, like I said, gathering grain. Because we need it, and there's a very limited window in which we're actually allowed to harvest grain. Late summer. I'm pretty sure that's snow. It looks like rain, we're fine, but still. So yeah. I don't necessarily want them working it too hard right now. To make sure we get... We're at 90% cleared, which is good. I'm hopeful we'll have enough grain. Again, without a stockpile, without a warehouse, I don't know how much of anything I have. And I am unfortunately forced to operate, like, fairly blind. Okay, yeah, coming back here. Alright. Once again, go do literally anything else if you can. No, you can't. Okay. So we've gathered all the grain we can this season. We only get, like, half a season to gather wild grain, which is why I had to do it. Otherwise, we may have not enough grain to seed the farm until next year. We might, even now, not have enough grain. You know? Which is fine if it turns out to be the case. That's just life. Slowly gathering. That rock will run out sometime. Rock can last a while. Holy shit. Will that rock ever run out? Alright. Well. Terraform. Clear some rock. There you guys go. 32 already, good. Oh good, this area down here we cleared out and got some grain. I sure hope it's enough. Yeah, we have a ton of meat here, good. 88, 92. Yeah, sure hope we have enough grain. Ended up with like 204 grain. It's always possible. The hobo phase of city building. Alright. Pardon me. Ooh, it looks like we might actually have enough. Please? Hey, look at that. 205. Now we can actually technically do the construction, which is great. Need to keep an eye on how much meat's stockpiled around here. Yeah, that's a good place to end off. We've successfully foraged enough grain in our first year to build this farm. And you know what? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're slowly building our warehouse. Which, you know, it'll get there. Keep mining that stone. Thank you everyone for watching. I've been your lovely host, Gilton. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Take care, folks. Have a good night.